Hello, welcome back. I'm Darren. And for a change, we are back in the first Descendant. Now, the reason we are back in the first Descendant is because I wasn't aware that when I did my upscaler test the other day that there was an update. And the update was for FSR 3.1. So we're going to check it out because when I went through the upscalers in that game, I didn't think that it was FSR 3.1, and there's reasons why I didn't think it was FSR 3.1. Now, the first reason, which is probably obvious, is that my belief was with FSR 3.1, the way it was advertised, was that the frame generation aspect would be decoupled from the upscaler, meaning that if you were a user on anything really, but predominantly if you were an AMD user, you could still use the frame generation, but use it if the Intel XeSS or the native TSR option or whatever is available in the game, native AA, was the better option, and instead of using the upscaler, you just wanted to use the frame generation. So that doesn't seem like it is decoupled, which is why immediately I didn't think that there'd been any change. It was only after I'd finished recording and I'd seen the game had been updated, and it had been mentioned that it had been updated to FSR 3.1. So now the other thing that I didn't think it had been implemented in, because I'm pretty sure, and we will check it out in a minute, we're not using it at the moment, but there did seem to be a lot of flickering, which I was also under the belief that AMD FSR 3.1 had stopped a lot of the bad shimmering, flickering, anti-aliasing, and it kind of did replace a little bit with some ghosting or some random thing, some other things. It's not like it was just they managed to cut that out and it didn't have an it didn't cause another issue in doing so. It seemed as if by removing the flickering it added ghosting, but not huge, not a big deal, but it is what it is. So we are back in, as I said, back in the first Descendant, and now this time we are on the Alienware 3440 by 1440p. So we will quick go into, I'm on a controller, unfortunately. I'm sat in the bucket seat. This is all attached to my sim rig, so mouse and keyboard is what I'd normally be using, but unfortunately I'm going to have to work my way around with the controller. So yeah, as you can see, we are at 3440 by 1440p. We're using sharpness at 3. So there is options available, but that's generally what I'd use when I'm running it on my other system. So we'll start there. And when we go to graphics, at the moment we are at the Ultra preset. We've got no RT, and we have no upscalers available. So everything's at Ultra. Motion blur is off. So this monitor is an OLED monitor. It has a fast response time. It shouldn't suffer from any motion blur, but it kind of comes up with the, why I personally no longer, it's not that I no longer like 1440p, but I do prefer 4K, because at 1440p, if you look at anywhere like these stands up at the top or anything like that, you see straight away on motion they tend to just get blurry, and then when you stop motion they go sharp, move, blurry, and 4K just solves all of that problem, and I find it quite distracting. It's like motion, it's almost like at 1440p you can't get rid of motion blur because the resolution does the blur. Like I said, we're running on an OLED now. Maybe it might be better if I had a slightly higher frame rate. This game is clearly quite demanding because we are on a 7900 XTX with a 7800 X3D, so the most powerful gaming that we can get, obviously on the AMD system, and we're below 80 frames at 1440p. It is 1440p ultra wide. That is more, demanding than your regular 16:9 1440p, but yeah, it's, you know, we're not at a blow yourself away frame rate. So yeah, as you can see with the native solutions, there's quite a lot going on whilst you're stationary. So down in that corner, around below the fences, between the fences, there's a lot of flickering around a lot of these buildings. Fences down there, you get that motion blur when you move, which is horrible. You know, there's quite a lot going on up there. So let's see what we have available to try and see if we can clean any of this up. No, I don't want to leave the game on options. Sorry, as I said, I'm on controller. I can't control a controller. I've been keyboard and mouse for the last 2 years. So what do we have? So we can go straight to AMD, I guess, and we can go to native AA, and let's see if AMD native AA can clean any of that up. Nope, unfortunately not. If anything, down to my side, the kind of yeah, there's kind of strange things flickering down on the floor just to my left hand side. Those power lines going across to my head are flickering quite bad. Some of the stuff up there has definitely been fixed, and I was going to say some of the stuff down to that side has been fixed, but probably not. So those lines, the lines hanging down from these hooks, don't worry about those too much, because 4K can't fix those. It can do a better job, but it can't fix them. So let's have a look if we still get that. But this seems, no, maybe not. I was going to say this might not get quite as blurry in motion. It might not be as bad. It still does a bit of blurriness in motion. Maybe not quite as bad. You can kind of see a bit of, you might not see it via YouTube by the time it's done. There's a bit of flickering down those lines. The fences is a bit of fuzziness. To be fair, I think a lot of this is just down to the resolution. 1440p, fine details, just doesn't handle it as well as a higher resolution does. So let's see if, so that was AMD native AA. Let's go to Intel native AA. They've got so much stuff going on here. Okay, there is still some flickering, but it's an improvement. But I'm wondering if it has a bit more blur. And maybe that's just from it's doing more filtering to try and get rid of it. No, I don't think there is more blur. Yeah, that's a definite improvement. It's actually holding up those power lines not too bad. On movement, not so much. Stationary, those ones above my head are actually doing quite well, which is quite impressive. So, as far as it goes right now, Intel over anything has a clear advantage. Still get a bit of flickering in these fences, nothing crazy. That shadow always seems to flicker, even at 4K. Native, the one just above my head, on the end of that, like, I don't know what that is. It looks like a turbine, jet engine type thing, but so yeah, that's far better. Oh god, I don't know why they've got the same button. It's either press or hold and it gives you a different option. So let's check out Epic Games. Okay, so that's not actually going to give me a native. It's only going to give me a quality. But then maybe that's a good place to start with the quality. We'll do that. Okay, so this is now obviously upscaling. We have got a gain in performance. We do have... Oh, it just doesn't look very good. Let me see. Oh, that looks really bad in that menu as well. Look how blurry that character's gone. That's terrible. So let's maybe add one more click on the sharpening to see if that helps a bit. That does help a bit. I don't want to go too much more because then there's definitely some aliasing around his face. There's a lot of aliasing in the mountains up there, like quite badly. As far as down, yeah, this image is kind of, I feel like it's breaking up a bit. It's definitely breaking up through the fence. When you're not through the fence, it's just very blurry on motion. But as far as the aliasing goes, the aliasing isn't terrible. I don't like this image though, I'm going to be honest. And that looks, the character there is just a blur mess. So I wouldn't want to play with that, if I'm being honest. So Epic Games is out of the window. Let's go with Intel and let's try Ultra Quality Plus. I don't understand what these are. So it's not a quality upscale, but it's an improvement over native by a few FPS, by about 10 FPS. And it's already quite a vast change in the aliasing. Yeah, it's not terrible. You can oh shit, whatever's going on there was, whatever that was like crazy disco shit going on when I was at a certain angle that I can't repeat now. It's not terrible. Up there's actually quite stable. This is a pretty hard test for it. The hill's stable to a degree. There is a very slight amount of aliasing you can see, but you won't see that on YouTube, that's for sure. Possibly doable. I'm going to guess the next option is out. So that should take us up to what the others are at quality. That didn't actually get much worse, which is surprising. Almost like, what's the point in the ultra quality? If anything, some of it is a little bit better, replaced by blur rather than aliasing, I think. I guess this could be an option if you needed it. Because that, I mean, that's the problem. Obviously, this isn't so much just about my hardware. Like I said, this is obviously on the XTX. If you're playing at this resolution on a 7800 XT or something a bit lesser, you're probably going to want some extra performance, because I don't know where you're going to be at. If this is 90, if this is around 100 with me using an upscaler, I'm going to guess at native you're below 60. So you're probably going to want to use one. It's doable. I'm not excited by it, but it's doable. Oh shit, what did the character look like? Yeah, so that's not blurry. So it definitely holds up better in there than what TSL. So TSL is not really much good for anything. XCSS so far is definitely superior. Let's just check out what... I don't want to go below that. So let's go from there to FSR, and holy shit. That's a there's a disco going on there. So yeah, that's just not holding the image at all. See, now is this FSR 3.1? That's what I'm kind of thinking to myself. It, like, this was all stuff that was supposed to be gone. I don't know. It's... I don't know if it looks... It might not look quite as blurry, but it's just replaced by every single... Like, this entire image is alive everywhere. I wonder if the snow... All of this fence is aliasing. The snow up there is a little bit, but not as bad as what the others were. It's handling that better. But everything else along there is just, there is so much going on in that image. So, yeah. That kind of did make me think, is this FSR 3.1? I don't know. It was like, what's in front of me at the moment is just breaking up quite badly. All of that up there when you're moving. Like when you stop, give it a second, it'll kind of sharpen up a bit. And the aliasing will calm down a little bit. But unfortunately, this is a game where you do have to move. Oh, look, it's a swimsuit. Which is really pixelated. So, yeah, this isn't good. I mean, look at those steps. I don't know. Somebody tell me, Darren, this isn't 3.1. Perhaps I misread. Did I misread it? Is it a case of it's due to be implemented? Let's check that out if we can. I don't know if the recording will stay. Let's try it. So if we go into the store. Yeah, right, you can go away. Okay. And we go to library. First Descendant. It wasn't those, it wasn't those. First update. First Descendant. First update. So this was last Thursday, I believe. July 31st. Update. Now, where was it? A lot of it is obviously just game stuff. There wasn't anything really in the way of game improvements of like graphically wise or bugs, but here, optimization improvements. PC, PS5, XSX, XSS, applied AMD FSR 3.1. Xbox and PS, optimized resolution increase and memory usage. So that I believe, that doesn't tell me that it's due to be, that tells me that it has been. So I don't know, because that doesn't make me think that it's using FSR 3.1. because I can't now. Like I wouldn't want to. I'd probably want to use the Intel one. So it's really blurry in there again. In fact, that's even worse than TSR, and it's aliasing. It's maybe not as blurry as TSR, but it's blurry and it's aliasing. So if I go to Intel, I meant XeSS. So if I go to XeSS, see, I can't use frame generation. It's gone. Frame generation. Let's have a look. Whoa. We just doubled our frame rate. But it doesn't look good. I think that just added an extra level of just the entire picture breaking up. I mean, we've got big frames. If people don't care about what it looks like, they might be happy with the frame rate. Yeah, even our hair's going crazy. I'm not. Especially in motion. Ooh, that's not good. The bikini person just stood there. In fact, they're just losing a lot of the... It doesn't like whatever that is. That's turned into a blur. And those steps over there are really bad. It just looks like... This looks way low res. Way low res. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think, because I don't know if... Like, I don't want to sound like I'm going hard on it. It's just not what I was expecting, so who knows? Maybe later on today. Generally, when I say something like this, there'll be an update tonight and it'll be perfect and it'll be fixed. And people will be like, yeah, look at that video you make. It's like, well, I don't know. And that's what I'm saying. I don't know. So I'm not going hard. I'm just saying that this doesn't look like FSR 3.1, as FSR 3.1 was advertised to be. A fix on anti-aliasing and a decoupling of the frame generation from the upscaler. This is neither of those things. So I don't know. There could be videos out there. There could be posts explaining that this isn't it and there is a problem. And if you know, let me know in the comments. Like I said, I'm not hating. I'm not hating. I'm not enjoying what this looks like. But it's not a AMD hate post or video. This is basically just a, FSR 3.1 not looking or behaving like I was expected. So in the comments, let me know, and I'll catch you in the next one. When I get out, if I can get out. There we go.